Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. So the next particular question we are dealing with is then what is the purpose of this earthly life? And well, where does God fit in terms of the purpose and the objective? Now, without resorting to the scriptures, if we look at our human condition and we look at the long history of humanity on the face of this earth, we will immediately find that we are fulfilling naturally our purpose. First and foremost, we came into this world with nothing but potential, intellectual potential, and curiosity that none other within the animal kingdom shares with us. We have this huge potential to learn things, to understand their workings, then through imagination to speculate what else can be achieved. Within no time did we conquer the roaring waves. When faced with darkness, we created light. When faced with sickness, we cured. God's purpose here in this intellectual evolution was to always encourage us to come to the fullness of our intellectual potential. Think about the Quran now, when God says to the angels, and God taught Adam all the names. Then he presented them to the angels, and the angels were incapable of responding. Within the exegetical literature, when we look, the angels were quite shocked and in awe of the knowledge base of Adam. And they were quite frightened that if this knowledge is utilized in a wrongful manner, the devastation it can bring about. But we are seeing this consistently as humanity is evolving. We are accomplishing our intellectual potential. From people who marveled at the night sky and at times worshipped the sun, to people who have intellectually conquered the night sky. They speculate into the beginning of the physical universe and its eventual end, and the multiverses and the interdimensional universes and where the universe arose from. That purpose we are fulfilling. In the Quran, God encourages us to fulfill that purpose. The verses say, look at nature. Look at how beautifully things are balanced. Look at everything, the way it praises God. It so beautifully is performing its desired function. Go out and look at what happened to previous races. Look at your history. Consider. Learn from them. Learn from their mistakes. The Quran unchains our minds. Within no time, a nomadic tribe of the Prophet became the conquerors of the waves and land. And they became the fathers of modern methods of science of data collection. The other purpose we are finding within ourselves is that there is the growth, a steady growth of nobility within us. We are becoming morally refined. As early humans, we could kill each other in order to secure the scarce amount of food that was available. Today, we talk about the inalienable human rights. And we frown at the idea that we sustain ourselves whilst any segment of humanity goes hungry. And we take great joy and pride in giving away something of what we have in order to ensure that others are fed. Whereas at one point, there was no notion of universal justice and just principles. Today, the world is talking on the basis of human justice, that it should be across the board. Nobody should be oppressed. Nobody should be a slave of another. This growth of nobility, wanting to refine ourselves morally, is another purpose that we are seeing within humanity that is naturally progressing. God's role in this is, when we read the Quran and the scriptures, that God always encourages us to do that which is morally befitting and right, that which is in accordance with our own inner sense of nobility. Think about the instructions of God within the Quran. Be good to your parents. Feed the hungry and the poor. Look after the orphans. Do not abuse women. Free slaves. Treat your enemy with kindness so that he may become a friend. Do not speculate about others. Do not call others by names that are demeaning and that are hurtful. Do not lie. When you transact, transact fairly. If anything, give more, take little. And God says, if you do all of that, then you have a handsome reward waiting with me, from me. So we see here again that God encourages this purpose of moral refinement and growth of the inner nobility. The third sense of purpose is this inner alignment with God, with a higher order, with a higher purpose, with a higher meaning. Even after our intellectual progression, moral refinement, there is a yearning within. There is an emptiness and a vacuum inside us. There has to be more to this. There has to be some very deep-seated meaning. This is the third level of purpose to which we are, as a collective humanity, awakening now. Of course, the great sages of God and pockets of humanity have awoken to it before this day and in the contemporary world. But right now we are finding that humanity as a species is awakening to that inner calling of finding purpose and meaning beyond it all. Otherwise, the intellectual growth and moral refinement seems to be very empty. They do not yield satisfaction. They yield momentary satisfaction. But in the depth of nights, when we are falling asleep, there is a question nonetheless: who am I? What is it all about? Why ought I to be so intellectually curious? Why should I be in a place where I need to establish justice? There'll come a time when there'll be no injustice, when nobody will go to bed hungry. When I think, well, is that it? Is there no more to it? That is the third level of purpose, to find that deep-seated meaning and that substantive existence. Here God says, I am the one that you are searching. Call me, I shall respond. I am very near to you. I come between you and your heart. Your return is to me. Trust in me. Surrender to me. In your surrender to me, your truth will dawn upon you. The light hidden within you, when you tend towards me, you will loosen your own self. Your I-ness will melt away, and the beauty that is locked up within you will begin to emerge and reveal itself. That is the final level of human purpose, and that is the most meaningful one. For us to find ourselves and for us to become extremely God-centric, where God is what we aspire for in our entirety, not only in terms of our morality, but the inner being that I am. This is my existence. Oh God, through you I find myself. I am not this identity that I have assumed myself to be. I am the ray of the unending light that is be all and end all, that has forever been and shall forever remain. That is the first and the last, the beginning and the end, the origin, the one that I yearn, and my eventual end. That is the deep-seated purpose that I see awakening now. And the role of God is to gently lure us to Himself. And of course, we'll be discussing this later on, but Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala addresses Himself as the wali, the intimate companion and the friend. The intimate companion because we can finally reveal ourselves, and through the companion we can see ourselves, and we will see that it is none other than the beauty of the companion that is within us. And that is the final level of purpose that Allah assists us in attaining. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.